Hello and welcome back to Anime Plus Recaps. Today we're going to recap the show Bento, which has a lot of things to offer. And with a breather or some fan service. And a pinch of casual incest. If none of that bothers you whatsoever, enjoy this recap. The premise of Bento is very simplistic and easy to grasp at first sight. What we have here are starving teenagers that fall us out, like the savages they are, all to obtain. So we then have our main character, Yusato, a high school freshman that gets beaten to a pulp. At first glance, how soon into the show, you ask? Well, about a good 0.0 second into the very first episode. After being hospitalized, Sato eventually understands the purpose of these Bento fights well, after getting his ass out of him twice. After observing Sato's defeat the Ice Witch, aka Yarazoe comes into play as the next day, he encounters a girl with silver hair who warns him not to go to the store again. He goes again alongside another student, Hana Oshiroi, and finds himself beaten up again upon reaching for the half-priced Bento. The next day, he decides to act more strategically and witnesses an all-out battle for the Bento that gets marked half-price, which is dominated by Sen Yurizui. After the battle ends in total defeat for Yo, Sen tells him to come to the half-priced Food Lovers Club room. Sen gets Yo and Hana to join the half-priced Food Lovers Club and starts training them in the ways of Bento brawling. During one of the supermarket visits, they encounter a boar, a fat woman who raids all the half-priced bentos before a battle starts. The next day, Yo meets Kanashiro, who encourages Yo to stand up to a boar so that the bento battle can properly take place. Yo comes to understand the pride of the wolves and comes out with his first victory, obtaining a bento with an honor seal from the god of discounts. Yo then returns to the club room, where Sen congratulates him on his first victory and shows him a scrapbook showing the victories you managed to obtain along with Sen's accomplishments as well. Yo gets a lot of hassle from the class president, Yoon Shiram, due to him hanging around Hana. As Yo and Hana go to a supermarket, they meet a kendo club member named Yamahara, who invites them to join a group called the Hounds, who use teamwork to help members get half-priced bento. As Yo and Hana take a trial period with the group, Yo feels the bento he obtains this method don't taste as good as he thinks. After reminiscing about old times, Yo turns down Yamahara's offer, realizing that food tastes best when you fight for it. Having realized the true meaning of half-priced bento, Sen gives Yo and Hana keys to the club room. The next morning, Yo finds his cousin, Ayam Shada, sleeping in his bed. Ah, yes, the big blonde mommy milker added to the team. Ayam is revealed to be a wolf known as the Beauty of the Lake, who throws down a challenge to Senator after barely escaping from the wrath of Yumi. Ayam accompanies Yo and Sen to a bento brawl, where she and Sen fight for the same bento. As Sen manages to defeat Ayam and claim her bento, Yo finds himself against a tough opponent, but manages to win in the end. Yo goes through some hassle to meet up with Ayam, where he also meets Asabi Inu, who gives bad luck to anyone she touches. As Yo goes to a store with the others, he finds himself up against Ren Nikaido, who is part of a group known as Gabriel Ratchet, and gets severely beaten by Tadaki Monarch Endo. After Yo regains consciousness, Ayam explains how Endo seeks revenge for some ancient slight, while Sen questions why she didn't warn Yo about him. As Sen heads towards a store alone, Ayam learns about how Yo triumphed over the previous monarch butterfly, Matsuba, with Endo, her successor, wanting revenge on Yo's successor. As Ayam warns Yo about this, Sen, who had gotten severely beaten up by the Gabriel Wretchets, arrives at the Ralph store to face against Endo. As Ren feels regret after hearing words of disappointment from Matsuba, the current god of discounts, he tries to stop Endo, but is knocked away. As the brawl begins, Yo and Ayam arrive and together they manage to defeat Endo. Afterwards, Ren follows Matsuba's advice and starts to live for himself. Meanwhile, Yo leaves the country to study overseas. Matsuba gives Yo, Sen, Ayam, and Hana free tickets to an indoor swimming pool, where they also run into Ren. There, they discover even a swimming pool has half-priced bento, featuring a unique bento brawl across the pool. As the waves provide a fierce battlefield, Yo manages to achieve his prey, albeit not without an embarrassing comeuppance. Yo becomes hospitalized after jumping out of a window while trying to protect his Sega Saturn that Sen threw out the window, ending up completely wrapped in bandages. Meanwhile, a pair of twin sisters from Ayan's school, both named Kyo Sawagi, the older of which appears to have a thing for Sen, infiltrate the hospital hoping to meet Senator. They mistake Yu for Sen and perform some curious inspections on him, leading to chaos when they actually learn the truth. Asabi decides to make Yo a homemade bento, in which every component tastes of something completely different. Meanwhile, Yumi meets up with the Sawadi sisters concerning both Yo and Ayan trespassing on each other's schools. Later that night, as Hana has an accident with her computer while finishing up one of her erotic novels, Yumi believes her to have fallen sick and comes over to tend to her fever. As she does, she discovers one of Hana's books which she had posted Yo's face all over. Yumi hits Yo once again, but not before he reveals Hana's passion for writing yaoi. Ayan is visited by Ren, who tells her about a group called Orthros who are severely attacking other wolves and placing baskets on their heads. As Yo resumes his bento brawl duties, he becomes the latest victim to the Sawaji sisters. As Yo, Sen, Ayan, and the others get together at a supermarket for a bento brawl the next day, Sen soon finds herself attacked by the sisters, and despite assistance from the others, is severely beaten.
Oh, mine! Good work, sis. Now let's get out of here.
Yo goes to visit Sen, who had been absent from school with a cold, where she discusses plans to fight against the twins for eel bentos in a few days. After another defeat by the twins, Yo and Ren learn from Ayan that they are the daughters of a chain store owner who came over from Yumhiro. Ren travels to Yumhiro to find out more, while Ayan passes on Sen's message to the twins, although Sen's cold has gotten worse. Ren learns that, 3 years ago, the twins were driven out of Yumhiro by a brawler known as the Club of Hercules. With 4 hours left until the bento brawl and Sen still not over her fever, Yo decides to let her sleep in while he goes in her stead. On the way, he encounters Hercules, who tells him something that causes him to run away. As the twins arrive at the store, they encounter Hercules, who is forcing the cooperation of the other wolves to exclude them from the fight, just like he did 3 years ago. However, Yo returns, having run to build up an appetite which reminds the other wolves why they fight and convinces them to brawl fairly. After beating Hercules, Yo manages to convince the twins to join in the fight, where the twins are defeated and Yo wins the prize seal to share with Senator. Overall, this show is a wild trip for anyone into Ecchi-style anime with a good plot. What do you want us to recap next? Comment down below and share and subscribe. Until then, sayonara. Oh, and hey, here's the holy water you're going to need if you've made it till last second of this recap.